Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Daily Motion, and Twitter. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Saturday, February 28, 2015, around 2:29 p.m. in Belleville, Massachusetts. Before I get to the news, I have to say a little shout out to today is adult actors Ron Jeremiah's wedding anniversary, so congratulations to him. And also a special shout out to a friend of mine on Facebook, one of his old friends named Darcy Douglas Pigott, would have been 66 years old today. And that's a special shout out to that Facebook friend. If you want any special shouts, Facebook friends or YouTube followers or Daily Motion or Twitter, private message me and I'll shout it out to you. I'm not going to shout it out to you if you don't tell me. And some news to report: sad news in the world of basketball. Former NBA star Anthony Mason passed away at the age of 48. And also Chicago White Sox ace pitcher Chris Sale's going to miss 3 weeks of action because he broke his foot at home. And also BC's men's basketball team beat North Carolina State at the Heights today by a score of 79-65. And the Florida Panthers acquired Danny Heatley from the Anaheim Ducks. Bruins need to get going on these deals, because if not, they're could be in serious trouble. Even though they're 4 points ahead, the teams behind them are acquiring players to overtake them. We'll wait and see about that. And that's about it on the news. My next subject is about the downeaster train run by Amtrak that runs from Boston North Station to Bruswick, Maine. It's a 145-mile trip, and it takes approximately 3 hours and 25 minutes. There's 5 round trips a day from the Amtrak downeaster, and roughly it has 1,530 passengers, close to 560,000 passengers a year. The downeaster started up and running on December 15th, 2001. Years ago, there was train service from Boston to Portland, Maine via the NBT's Newbury-Rockport line. It would go into Newburyport, then go to Hampton, New Hampshire, and Northampton, New Hampshire, and Portsmouth, Maine, and Kittery, Maine, and Saco, Maine, and Orchard Beach, Kennebunkport, and Portland, Maine. That was real popular for many years, but by 1965, train service was discontinued from Boston to Portland, Maine, because they were losing big-time money, plus Interstate 95. A lot of people were just driving up the Interstate 95, so that's what's killed the trains from Boston to Portland, Maine for that time. And as early as 1990, there was a push by Maine to get train service back to Boston, Portland, Maine, and they got money from Amtrak, and after several false starts, it opened up for business on December 15th, 2001. And they have about 5 cars on it. One car is a cafe car, which you could have a light lunch, drinks, chips, snacks, plus some alcohol beverages, but I think they limit how many alcohol beverages you could have there, maybe to 2 or 3 per trip, because they don't want anybody getting too much to drink, causing trouble and stuff like that. The train runs as follows the route. The train starts at North Station, goes over the Charles River, and then follows the low line for the commuter rail, but it goes right past West Medford, Wedgmere, and Winchester Center. If you're waiting to take that train there, they're not going to stop for you. You have to go to Anderson-Woburn Station to pick it up, and they only pick you up if you're going to Maine. They don't drop passengers off outbound. Inbound, they just drop off passengers, but they don't pick you up to go to Boston. I think they do that for like Woburn and Haverhill. They don't want passengers being dropped off or picked up if they're going to and from Boston, because I think it's probably competition. They don't want to be in competition with the MBTA, the Amtrak, for taking passengers to Woburn and Haverhill if they could use the MBTA commuter rail. And then this commuter rail, then the downeaster follows like Wilmington, and then they take the Wildcat, and the Wildcat's a couple miles, then they go on the Haverhill Reading line, and they go past Ballardale and Andover and Lawrence and Bradford, and then they have to go slow down for the river, like the Merrimack River Bridge, only 15 miles per hour, and that's the only train that's allowed, one train on either side, because they don't want both trains, double trains going on there, because they don't want an accident to happen and cause the bridge to collapse and fall in the Merrimack River. They don't want that. And they hit Haverhill Station, and they just pick up passengers if they're going to New Hampshire or Maine. They don't drop off passengers, and inbound they just drop off passengers. They don't pick them up to go to Boston. And they continue to go on the New Hampshire line. It's 16 miles to the next stop, which is Exeter Station, where they drop off and pick up passengers either way. And it continues on maybe another 20 miles or so until it comes to Durham, which is near the University of New Hampshire campus, where a lot of students go to get picked up or dropped off. This is a very popular stop, especially when school time is coming. Once school's in session, there's a lot of people who go in and visit friends or boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, and then continue on to Dover, New Hampshire as the next stop. At one time, years and years ago, you could take a train from Boston to Dover, New Hampshire, and you could switch it off. And you could switch it off to take a train to North Conway, New Hampshire. Then you could take a special train all the way up to Mount Washington, the highest point in New England. You could have done that years and years ago, but that was discontinued in 1967 due to dwindling attendance and interstate highways. Then it continues on into Maine, goes about another 10 miles to goes to Wells, Maine. There's a stop there, and it continues on to Saco, Maine. It says sometimes Saco Bedford, but it's Saco, and you could get off or get picked up if you're going to the Brunswick. Continues on. There's going to be a special stop that's just going to be open during the summer months at Kennebunkport, Maine. You could visit the Seashore Trolley Museum, or you could visit the summer home of former President George H.W. Bush if you want to, but there's going to be security there. I'm just warning you. And then there's a station at Old Orchard Beach, Maine. You could go to like the amusement park and travel to the beach, but that's only seasonal, so keep that in mind. Then it continues on to Portland, Maine, and then it continues on to Freeport, Maine, and the last stop is Brunswick, Maine. And there's talk that they're going to be expanding the downeaster to include Lewiston and Albany, Maine in the near future, which is the second largest city in Maine. And there's even talk potential future expansion to Bangor, Maine, or Presque Isle, Maine, but that you're talking years away for that. And plus, Amtrak would probably have to convert this to a high-speed rail line in Maine to have the trains maybe 3 hours or more. But the train lines, most of it's single track. The train line's capacity is 70 miles per hour at its best. You would be talking about up millions and millions of dollars of upgrading it, which the Northern New England Transportation Authority will be able to do it. But there's a problem about that if they want to upgrade it with this high-speed train in Northern New England. They would have to get Massachusetts to convert the rail lines high speed. But there's one problem. MBTA kind of owns some of the train lines, and with the MBTA being broke, they're not going to they don't have the money to upgrade these lines to 110 miles per hour. But who knows? And years ago, you could take trains up to like Prescott Isle, Maine from Boston. In fact, you could have took a train to Halifax, Nova Scotia from Boston North Station. But that stopped in 1965 due to dwindling attendance plus airplanes and interstate highways. So, and I haven't taken the Downeaster yet, but it's a pretty good train ride, what I hear, and it's real popular. It's one of the most popular train lines in the country, and it's actually making money. It has a good impact on the state of Maine, $12 million a year that Maine gets through the Downeaster, and plus a lot of jobs. And when this first started, experts were saying it was going to probably break even by year 6 or 7. It broke even by year 4, which is pretty amazing and stuff like that. And there's a need for like high speed train service to Maine to get these people connected. If they want to come to Boston for Red Sox games, Bruins games, Celtics games, visit the city of Boston and stuff, it would like take up forever for taking it for like a car ride or stuff like that. But it would be a good thing if the Downeaster could go to Prescott Isle, Maine. But that's years away, and if I was a betting man, I don't think we will ever see the Downeaster go to Prescott Isle, Maine until maybe 20 years from now. Just my humble opinion. And that's about it on that. My third and final video blog subject of the night is going to come up soon, which will be about Patrick Ewing, former NBA center and one of the greatest players of all time, Pro Basketball Hall of Famer. And don't forget Facebook, friends, YouTube, follows, Daily Motion, and Twitter. If you want a shout out, just private message me and I'll give you a shout out. Have a good day, everybody. Bye now.